Welcome to the Stack Supplement Podcast, the premier source for supplement news and reviews.
We are back with another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we round up all of the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. This episode is a day late, so we're actually going to include some stories from the week we're currently in, but they're stories well worth including. We're going to kick this week off with news from one of my favorite functional companies, and I know I say that a lot because I have a lot of favorite functional companies, and this is Enlighten. You'll probably know Enlighten mostly for its frozen foods. It's frozen functional treats. Primarily, it's ice cream. The Enlighten ice cream is kind of like Halo Top. Top macros, high protein, low carb, at least compared to your typical ice cream. With a mountain of different flavors to choose from, and I think it was last year, they did the keto ice cream, which in my opinion is better than the original Enlightened ice cream, mostly because it's just got that creamy aspect. With a lot of the top tasting or even popular protein ice creams, you get that sweetness, but it lacks that kind of typical ice cream consistency, the creaminess really. And the Enlightened keto ice cream really solves that. It's just got a very thick cream. It doesn't have enough sweetness or as much flavor as the regular ice cream, but it makes up for that with that creamy texture. And so the taste doesn't need to be as strong. It's just, in my opinion, a better ice cream. But that's neither here or there. The story we have to talk about today is last week Enlighten came out with some of the most creative functional treats we had seen in a while. Halo Top has certainly done its fair share of interesting products and flavors, but last week Enlighten really came out and just caught me by surprise, blew my mind. Really want to get my hands on these things ASAP, but they came out and they did keto cookie dough bites and keto cheesecake, and what these are exactly are indeed keto-friendly cookie dough bites and keto-friendly cheesecakes. They're basically high in protein or moderately high in protein, high in fat and low in net carbs in traditional keto-friendly fashion. They come in a variety of flavors, but the most interesting thing is that those macros that are keto-friendly are very damn impressive. I do like my protein snacks, but I'm always not scared of trying keto-friendly treats, especially when the protein is moderate and the fat is just sort of a bit higher, and the carbs, of course, are much lower. But so the keto cheesecake comes with it comes in boxes of 2 cheesecakes. Each cheesecake weighs 80 grams, and they have that traditional kind of cheesecake build with the thick crust, crumbly bottom, with a smooth, delicious, flavor-filled top, which is obviously thicker than the base. But each of those cheesecakes has 4 grams of protein, which again isn't a whole lot, and 20 grams of fat, so again more keto friendly, but 2 grams of just 2 grams of net carbs and 0 added sugar, and for a total of 210 calories. So it's if you are on the hunt to add some fat to your diet or want to treat without having any extra carbs, a whole lot of extra carbs added, this thing is on point. It's got the same calories as a protein bar, but you're essentially swapping the fat, the high amount of fat for that traditional 20 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat. The thing looks absolutely amazing. Looks absolutely delicious. It comes in 5 flavors. There is pumpkin, chocolate, strawberry, caramel chocolate, and then there is a not overly descriptive flavor just called classic. So I think more of like a typical kind of traditional cheesecake flavor. And so those are available now from the brand's website, or they were available. Last time I checked, they were all sold out. And they're pretty reasonably priced. I think the cheesecakes are at $7 a box. So again, 2 cheesecakes per box. And that's when you buy 8 boxes. So $7 a piece, $3.50 per cheesecake. It's not bad. As for the keto cookie dough bites, now, these things are a little bit tricky to try and figure out. I think I mentioned this on the Final Scoop podcast over the weekend. The macros are meant to be on a serving of 24 cookie dough bites, which confused me because then it said there's 2.5 servings per bag, which would mean there is somewhere in the realm of 60 keto cookie dough bites per bag, and a bag only weighs 78 grams. And so it confused me. I asked them how many bites were per bag. They said 24 per serving, and again with 2.5 servings per bag, that's 60 bites. And I just couldn't imagine that the cookie dough bites were like 1.5 grams. It rattled my brain. Either way, hopefully someone gets their hands on it, or I get my hands on it and can find out firsthand what the numbers are. But the macros on a 30 grams worth of these cookie dough bites is 5 grams of protein, so just pretty much the same as the cheesecake, with 13 grams of carbohydrates, but only 2 grams of that net carbs, no added sugar, 7 grams of fat, and a calorie count of just 90. So the macros on these are a little lighter, at least per serving. You get just like, I don't know, a 25% more protein in the cheesecake, but only at 90 calories. And so these are a little more friendly, a little more high protein, traditional, nutritionally dense. And so they come in 5 flavors, much like the cheesecakes. There is a classic chocolate chip, fudge brownie, snickerdoodle, birthday cake, and peanut butter. If it wasn't clear before, in typical Enlighten style, both the cookie dough bites and the cheesecake are frozen treats, and so they come frozen, purchase frozen, everything like that. And the cookie dough bites are $5 a bag when you purchase 10. These prices are from the website, and they do include shipping, so that's $7 per box of when you're buying 8 cheesecakes or 8 boxes of the cheesecake, and $5 per bag of the cookie dough bites do include shipping. So it's just how when you buy directly from Enlightened, they have it worked into the cost. So yeah, pretty exciting, interesting, intriguing little treats. I'm a big fan of functional foods. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you will know I've mentioned that on several occasions. It never changes, but and I'm a big fan of Enlighten. So when I saw this come out, and just keto cheesecakes aren't something I haven't seen before. There are recipes out there. There are even little select companies that make them, but it's not. I've never seen it on the mainstream, area of the world, of the market. Sorry. And Enlighten has distribution in major supermarkets, and these are going to be in major supermarkets. So it's cool to see a company bring some solid macros, some solid creativity, and what I imagine to no doubt be extremely delicious. As mentioned, the keto ice cream is better than the regular ice cream, so I feel that the keto angle, high fat angle with these treats are going to give it that consistency and texture that you get with those traditional cheesecakes and cookie dough bites. But we move on from there to a brand out of South Africa, and I can't remember if we've mentioned on this podcast, but the company is MetaLab. And so MetaLab, I'm not sure what the exact names are, but they do food. Like, they do a meal prep, if I remember correctly. They do training, personal training and stuff. And they only kind of just got into supplements earlier this year. I'm not sure if the namings on the other divisions are correct, but MetaLab is the name of the supplements that they produce. Again, South African brand. So it's really only just burst out onto the scene this year, but it has made quite the impression. MetaLab, if you haven't seen it, has a very unique, distinct look to it, kind of like Leucine, mostly that it's just so out of the box and different. Not that it looks like Leucine, but it's just got this very different approach. The artwork is very eye-catching. It's got a nice illustrative, creative, funky, almost psychedelic feel. Kind of like a mix of that Fat Labs G-Crack, if you know that one, and Galax. It's kind of like a mash. It's just an artist gone wild, essentially, on supplements. And yeah, they've been dropping products throughout the year after they debuted. I think they had a pre-workout on launch. There were other products as well. Of course, I think there's like 3 or 4, but they've really grown throughout the year. They even recently did some limited edition flavors for their protein powder bridge. And of course, being a creative brand, they weren't your typical limited edition flavors. I think one of them was a apple pie, and the other one was like a coconut something. So yeah, these guys have been doing some interesting stuff. And this past week, they announced that they're coming out with a muscle building supplement, their first for the category, which I'm excited about. I enjoy seeing companies, newcomers grow and expand, and seeing their different takes on different categories. And so the muscle building supplement should be interesting to see. The name of it is Mechanic, and there's going to have 6 main ingredients, one of which has been confirmed with phosphatic acid, popular muscle building ingredients. It's going to be dosed at 1 gram per serving, so not that 1.5 grams we typically see But there are, again, 5 other ingredients in the supplement which are due to be revealed in the coming weeks. Another interesting point about the supplement is that it's not going to come in capsule form like most muscle builders. MetaLab has decided to take the flavored route with Mechanic, and it's going to have a rather interesting peach and apricot slushy flavor. I don't know if there are any others, but if that's the one you're going to promote, I can imagine if there are others, they're going to be just as unique and interesting as that. But we'll have more details on that soon. They said they're going to be sharing the rest of the ingredients over the coming weeks in the lead up to the launch. So launching, by the sounds of things, before the end of the month, with the rest of the ingredients to be shared and confirmed in between now and then. From there, we move back to the primary US market. Actually, no, before we shoot there, I got a story to talk about from the UK, which I just thought was one of the coolest things I had seen. As you can tell, I get excited by a lot of different things in the supplement industry, but Explosive Ape. Explosive Ape is a UK apparel brand. It was originally an apparel brand, well known for its sort of powerlifting, strongman attire and clothing, accessories. And one of the things one of the items they're known for is a T-shirt that features this saying, "Don't talk to me," kind of like Animal's classic. If you're a long-time supplement fan, you'll know Animal had the classic shirt, "Shut the fuck up and train." They had a multitude of other ones that were just as intense and edgy, but it kind of just has that on the front end. And Explosive Ape has their shirt that just basically says, "Don't talk to me." And those two kind of resonated with me, just similarity and intensity. But yeah, they have a shirt called "Don't Talk to Me," and then they recently confirmed that they are going to turn that shirt into a pre-workout. As mentioned, Explosive Ape did start out as an apparel brand, but it was early last year, or second quarter of last year, they started doing supplements. They had a pre-workout protein powder. They've introduced an amino. A mountain of other supplements have been dropped since then. And so yeah, they announced that they were going to be turning that T-shirt into a pre-workout, and that pre-workout was finally revealed in its entirety last week. And it's quite interesting. It's not I liked the just the fact that they turned the T into a pre-workout. They could have just done a regular pre-workout and called it Explosive Pre or something else. They already did have a pre-workout, but this one is a bit different. But again, instead they took the T, turned it into a pre, which I thought was a nice connection, especially for fans of its apparel. But so they the difference with the new pre-workout called "Don't Talk to Me" versus the brand's original pre-workout, which was the second supplement it launched with, is that Don't Talk to Me is intended to be a more cost-effective, kind of a cost-conscious solution. The catch is it's just $19.99, and that's pounds. So transfer to US, it's like $25. So it's a pretty solidly well-priced pre-workout, and it works out to be, I think it's like 66 pence, so 85 cents US per serving. And these servings are, I believe there's 30 full servings per tub. I could be mistaken on that. But yeah, it's 30 full servings. So it's not like, 30 servings, take 2 to get the max dose. The maximum serving recommended is 1 serving. So you do get 30 full per tub. And at $19.99, it's quality. It's just a quality price. You get what you pay for. And they've done a pretty good job at putting a lot of active ingredients and dosages into this one. So it's kind of a straightforward mix. You got creatine monohydrate, beta-alanine, taurine. Caffeine is, of course, in there. Theanine, guarana, willow bark, hordenine. So that's kind of cola nuts in there as well as a source of caffeine, and N-acetyltyrosine. So that kind of, those ingredients basically kind of sum up the variety. It doesn't have citrulline, agmatine, glycerol, or any other kind of just those additional ingredients you typically see. It's gone for a very basic mix, but again, the price on this one is intended to be a straightforward, simple, basic, average pre-workout. They designed it to be cost-conscious, and at £20, I think they did a good job. And again, 30 servings. This isn't a 40-serving tub. Take 2. You're really only getting 20 servings. So you can check it out on the site. I believe they said it's going to be available to purchase in like a couple of weeks. So people in the UK and Europe will be able to get their hands on it sometime this month. And Explosive Ape does have good distribution, so you'll likely see it in stores and stockists. I wouldn't be surprised to see it across Europe as well. But I just thought it was a really cool approach, turning the T into the pre. I just liked that idea, even though they could have done it without the T inspiration. Just that conversion, that approach was quite creative. I just thought it was really cool. I mean, again, imagine if Animal turned their shirt, shut the fuck up and train into a pre-workout. I mean, longtime fans would love it, especially those who owned the shirt, such as myself. But I mean, it's just a cool idea. But again, so here we go. We head back to the US market. From there, with our next story coming from Jim Stoppani's brand, Gym Supplement Science, who we haven't really heard from for quite some time. In fact, the last time we did was earlier in the year with the Gym SS8, which is sort of an alternative fat burner available at GNC, a little pricier than the original Gym Shred. But that was one of the first entirely new supplements we had seen from Gym for quite some time. This past week, we got another entirely new product, but it's a lot more basic than the Gym SS8. It is Gym BCAAs, and that is exactly what it is. It is just a straightforward, standalone BCAA product with 6 grams of BCAAs per serving, broken up into that typical 2-to-1 ratio of leucine, isoleucine, valine, and yeah, that's really... It was quite surprising because it was one of the first most basic supplements I had seen from Gym. I think Gym ZMA was probably one of the... Gym Omega were some of the simpler ones I had seen. But yeah, I guess this was one of the more basic ones, because you do typically see brands coming out with standalone essential commodity type BCAAs, and it was interesting to see Gym throw this one out there. Again, first brand new product we had seen since SS8. But yeah, it's available on... I think it's coming soon to Amazon. It's available on bodybuilding.com, and it's $24.99. So it's not hugely... Like, I have seen BCA brands, BCA supplements priced in the 30s, and it's just BCAAs. But this is $24.99, and it is 40 servings, so it's not the usual 30. And you get 6 grams of BCAAs in each of those 40 servings. So it's not supremely competitively priced, but it's not outrageously priced either. It's got that Gym name, so it's quite reasonable, and comes in 2 flavors with peach rings and green apple. From there, we got 2 more stories to go, and I'm going to leave one of my favorite ones to last, but the second last story we have comes from ProSupps, the brand in black and red, known for a lot of different supplements. Mostly it's pre-workouts, Hide and Jekyll, but this week it is known for something a little bit different. Not really out of character, but extremely in trend right now. And this is ProSupps has come out with a plant-based protein powder. I've mentioned on this podcast several times before, vegan-friendly plant proteins are just been a category everyone wants to get into. Very similar to superfood and immune support, although immune support mostly over the past little bit. But yeah, they've come out with a vegan-friendly protein powder. If I'm not mistaken, it's the first plant protein ProSupps has ever done. It's a big brand. I could be wrong about that, but I don't recall ever seeing something they dropped on the more sort of mainstream front in that area. But it is, it's basically called basic plant perform protein powder. It relies on 2 sources of protein, if I'm not mistaken, no 3. It's got pea isolate, rice concentrate, and fava bean protein, which we've actually only just sort of seen for the first time earlier this year with Beam's vegan protein. And Beam's, if I remember correctly, is one of the best tasting plant proteins we ever had. We tried the blueberry flavor, if I remember correctly, and it was insane as far as plant proteins go. And I mean, plant proteins at their best still aren't close enough to the best whey protein, but as far as plant-based proteins go, that thing is damn good, one of the best, right out there with Ghost Vegan and Nutrix plant protein. But yeah, so ProSupps is using fava bean, pea isolate, rice concentrate, and it's a plant perform protein. They give you 25 grams of protein per serving, so this isn't that traditional 20 grams that you see. If you haven't noticed, a lot of brands go with 20 grams as opposed to the 25 grams you get in whey proteins. ProSupps has taken the more traditional approach and given you 25, so it's a pretty solid amount. But in addition to that, They also note on the label that they've thrown in an extra 3 grams of leucine. Leucine is, of course, one of the most important BCAAs to help initiate muscle protein synthesis, and leucine is also a amino acid that plant protein powders are typically lower or deficient in, and we have seen this move where brands add in leucine a few times now. I believe it was Ambrosia does it with their God damn it, the name of their one's not coming to me, and it's extremely Planter. So there it is, Planter. They've got added leucine in that. Morphogen did the same thing. There are a couple others. I think, did Core do it? I think they might have. I can't remember. But there are a couple out there that have done it now, and that's what ProSupps has done, is added an extra 3 grams of leucine in there to raise that that amino acid balance that plant proteins are deficient in, which is quite an interesting approach. But the rest of the macros, as mentioned, you get 25 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbs, 3.5 fat for 150 calories. And it comes in 2 flavors right now, with rich chocolate and vanilla cream, both of which come with a very confident call out on the tub that says award-winning flavor, which you can't obviously, you don't know how these things are judged or where they get that from. I'm intrigued to know what it tastes like, but I think it's cool that they, even though again, I don't know, I didn't look into too much what they meant by that, but it is claimed as award-winning flavor. But the good part about that, I think, is just that they put focus on the taste. I think a lot of people, haven't really noticed that vegan protein powders, that's one of the big areas, because previously vegan protein powders were coming out quite frequently, and they were all tasting pretty bland, pretty gritty, pretty earthy. And then there was this quick kind of change where they were like, no, this is the best tasting, no, this is the best tasting, and they actually started turning out to be pretty solid, strongly well-flavored protein powders. I think Ghost was obviously one of the first best ones I had. Kind of just opened my eyes to how good a vegan protein powder can taste. It doesn't need to taste like shit and dirt, which some of the ones I've had in the past did, to the point where I couldn't even finish it. And I don't mean finish the tub, I mean finish the actual sample I had from the first scoop. So yeah, it's good to see ProSupps throwing their hat in the ring. One of the first big name brands, one of the earlier big name brands to get in. There have been a few others, but you haven't seen too many of the bigger ones jump in. So it was cool to see them take on. The supplement is now available at Vitamin Shop. It's a $42.99 and it's for a 24 serving tub. But don't think that 24 servings is light. Remember, I said that they've given you 25 grams of protein per serving on this one. So if you want to, I do this with a lot of protein powders, because people say, they'll be like, oh, this has 30 servings, but you forget that you get 20 grams of protein in some of these others. So and this is 25 grams. So if you want to calculate it out, and based on the 20 grams of protein, the ProSupps protein powder has 30 servings. So it's on par with a lot of the others that go for that lower amount, if you want to work it out that way. But yeah, it's available now at Vitamin Shop. I imagine it'll be other places soon. But yeah, $42.99 is the price you're looking at. And the last story we have comes from a brand, if I remember correctly, we talked about last week, and that is XP Sports, the new gaming supplement company from iOV8, who we spoke about in the last episode regarding the pricing for their gaming supplements. They launched, they hit the market, and surprisingly, they came out with some pretty solid pricing on their products, all of them at $24.99. The formulas are pretty solid, even more so for $24.99. But then we also highlighted on the site that they dropped a coupon code. If you signed up to their email list and then went to their and checked your email, they had a little coupon code in there that dropped things even lower. I think it was about like 25%. So it took the products that were already pretty cost effective of $25 down to $18 or $18.75 if you want to be specific. Which, again, for a gaming supplement, that's pretty reasonably well put together, featuring a lot of solid ingredients. You got the new level in there, which is a studied gaming ingredient. But, yeah, it was quite impressive. But this past week, we got news on something even more exciting than the pricing, and that is XP Sports has another product on the way, but it's not an entirely new one. What it is is a different version of Boost. If you've been following along, Boost is XP Sports gaming powder, kind of like G Fuels. It's a flavored powder supplement to use to boost energy and focus. Different from the other products in the lineup because you have Zero Lag, which aims to do kind of the same thing, but that comes in capsules. And then you have the gummies, which is the only one of the 3 XP Sports supplements that doesn't have caffeine in it, but it still tries to help with focus and cognition. But Boost is the flagship supplement of the XP Sports lineup. And then this past week, we got a glimpse of a beverage version, an energy drink version of Boost, which I am thoroughly excited about. I've mentioned multiple times in podcasts. In fact, when I interview with Cellucor, I mentioned I would love to see a gaming beverage, even if it's just like a special edition flavor like USN did, or even, I don't know, some sort of spin-off. Things that resonate with me personally, I love to see, even though it might not be appealing to people who aren't gamers or didn't grow up with it. I always want to see that kind of stuff. And so Boost is coming out with XP Sports is coming out with an energy drink version of Boost. Now, if you read the post, we don't know the ingredients yet, but the highlights of the product are pretty much the same as the Boost powder, which would lead you to believe it's going to have the same, if not a similar mix of ingredients and dosages, but we haven't seen the formula. So we just kind of speculated at this point. It will come in the same flavors, or at least it's been confirmed in the same flavors as the Boost powder, with a rainbow candy and sour lime pucker face, and both will have 0 sugar and 0 calories. So guilt-free. I imagine they're going to taste damn good. I always think that about all energy drinks I try, so I'm hyped to try it. We'll have more details soon. I think the next post you'll see about it will likely be confirmation of what's in it. I don't know too much about when it's going to be available. The details just kind of came in and we threw them out there like we do with everything. But you can check it out on the site. Just type in XP Sports. It'll be one of the most recent stories we shared. But thank you for tuning into this week's Roundup episode. I'm planning to have another interview. I've been keeping it pretty consistent. I've been doing the best I can to get them out every week. Last week was Ugly Muscled. This week I am hoping for the Skinny Food Co. and Maya Blocks, as well as Trained by JP Nutrition, all of which should be damn exciting episodes. So stay tuned, and as always, they will be uploaded to all the platforms: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. So yes, thank you for tuning in, and look forward to having you on next time.